Grateful and honored to be here with you all in our community to honor a man who was the face of the civil rights struggle back in the 50s and the 60s. And so today, as we honor Martin Luther King Jr. for his sacrifice, for his labor, I want everyone to keep something, before I get started, keep something within the forefront of your mind, is that this dream that Martin Luther King Jr. had, our common dream as a people, is actually right within our grasps. I was asked by a reporter from the Daily News why I felt that this was my ancestral duty to speak here on today. And I responded to her and I told her, I have to speak here today. I speak today for every enslaved African stolen from the motherland and brought here to the Americas on a ship full of disease and degradation. I speak here today for every African American slave who was beaten and who was killed just for trying to be human and receive some degree of human decency in a land that we did not ask to be. I speak here today for every black man and black woman who was beaten, who was arrested, who was fired from their jobs, thrown into jail, even killed during the civil rights struggle. I speak today for every black pastor during the struggle who was criticized and had their churches burned just for standing up for Jesus and for justice. That's who I speak here for on today. I speak here today even for my parents, both who grew up in the Jim Crow South and had to experience racism and segregation and degradation just for being born black. That's who I speak here for today. I speak here today for Sandra Bland, for Trayvon Martin, for Michael Brown, for Sean Bell out in Baton Rouge. I speak for Alton Sterling, Philando Castile. I speak for my good friend Bolton John. I speak for Tamir Rice. I speak for every single one of us who was lost, who was killed during this new Jim Crow era. That is who I speak for today. I speak for all of us who are still going through the struggle now in 2022. And so my question today, before I even get started, will anybody speak with me today for all of our lost ones? Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that America would be true to what she said on paper. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that black and white children, all children of all ethnicities, would interact together in harmony instead of hatred. Martin Luther King had a dream that, as a people, we would have the same privileges as those who were in the majority. Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream that America would no longer cash voided checks from the Bank of Justice. And most African Americans, like the ones that are with us and the ones who are not with us on today, might look at the current state of black affairs. They might look at the current state of the black union and be discouraged and think that Martin Luther King's dream is dead. But something very interesting happened on last night. I know that Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream, but I also had a dream last night. And in my dream that I dreamt last night, we make it. We win. We actually win in the struggle for justice and for freedom. We actually will make it there to the mountaintop. And mind you, the dream cannot die, because while we are still living, while we are still breathing, I'm here and pleased to tell each and every one of you here today that we are almost there. I'm reminded of the story of Nehemiah. When he began to rebuild the wall, he was met with a lot of hostility from the governors, from the political powers that stood above him. Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem, three very, very powerful forces in the land in which these former slaves were now living. These powerful forces were trying to stop them from achieving freedom in its totality. They were trying to stop them from enjoying all the rights and privileges that is to be afforded to every human being. And these three powerful forces conspired and banded together to block the advancement of these former slaves. And at times, I'm here to encourage someone that in times it might seem that three powerful forces in our land, our legislative branch, our judicial branch, even our executive branch is sometimes against us. And even though that it might be against us, in spite of their efforts and their conspiracies, I'm here to tell you right now that we shall overcome. I'm here to tell you right now that despite how many forces are against us, despite how many people are against us, in spite of how many people are against our cause for freedom, if they be against us, it doesn't matter if they're against us, because it doesn't matter who's against us. If God be for us, it doesn't matter who's against us. I'm here to tell you that we shall overcome, and that we will win this fight for justice, we will win this fight for freedom, and we will push through to absolute victory. Do me a big favor. Everyone repeat after me. Say, while we're alive. While we're alive. Say, while we're alive. While we're alive. A day is coming when law enforcement will stop looking at us for reasons to take black men from their families and fill their jails with us. While we're alive. A day is coming when women, our women, will be protected, allowed in more leadership roles, and viewed as full human beings instead of sex objects and baby mamas and all kinds of negative black stereotypes. While we're alive. While we're alive. Black children will no longer be targeted from birth and systematically labeled as a threat. While we're alive. While we're alive. The media will no longer portray us as stereotypes. The media will no longer will finally start portraying us as equals to the majority. While we're alive. While we're alive. While we're alive. While we're alive. We will rise to the top of the American economic and educational structure and not be systematically chained to the lowest rung of the ladder. While we're alive. While we're alive. The God of our weary years, the God of our silent tears, the God who has seen us through the darkest of seasons will see us through until this dream is fulfilled. While we're alive. 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 We will fight for our freedom. We will fight for this dream. We will fight for one another. We will fight for all the generations that are coming. We will fight for everything that Dr. King lived and dreamed about and died for. While we're alive. While we're alive. We will fight for this dream till the day that we die. Thank you so much.